Hey there, my name is James Lee. Welcome to my channel 5149, where I talk business, politics, and society.
The world's richest guy is set to buy one of the world's most influential social media companies. After weeks of uncertainty, Elon Musk struck a deal to buy Twitter at a price of roughly $44 billion.
This is the talk of the town, and it probably will be for a little while until the next billionaire decides on their next pet project. But yes, Elon Musk is buying Twitter to reform our public town square and make it a bastion of free speech. But should that be the whole story? Because left and right-wing pundits on TV will be debating Elon Musk free speech, censorship, ad nauseum in the coming days, weeks, months, maybe even years. Who knows? Don't get me wrong, free speech is important, but I think there's another point to be made here. So today, we're still going to talk about Elon Musk, but we're going to talk about the one thing that I think he's right about.
You have comments on Elon Musk?
Well, you have to give him credit. I spoke to him very recently, and he's also doing the rockets. He likes rockets, and he does good at rockets, too, by the way.
I'm not talking about the rockets. I'm talking about his disdain of publicly traded companies. This is a headline from 2018. For Elon Musk, the worst part of a publicly traded company was the public. He's right. The public sucks because, think about this for a second. The goal of a public company is to make as much money as possible for its shareholders. And so for the public, aka Wall Street, the hedge funds, the media, and even the average retail investor, the only thing that they care about a company is its ability to make them money. And that amount of money is tied directly to a company's stock price. Twitter agreed to sell itself to Mr. Musk for $54.20 a share, a 38% premium over the company's share price this month. Sounds all well and good, right? Because regardless of your maybe personal opinion about Twitter, at least the board is doing what it's supposed to be doing, upholding their fiduciary duty by taking the deal, right? How could they not? But zooming out just a little bit, Twitter's stock price was at $71 in July of last year, not even a year ago. So I would argue that their business fundamentals really haven't changed all that much in the last year. It's always been kind of a bad business, and that certainly hasn't changed that much. Although for what it's worth, Twitter's monetizable daily active users have actually grown steadily over the past few years. But that's the thing about stock price. It's often uncorrelated with the company's underlying fundamentals, especially as of late. I know stock people will come at me for saying something like that, and they're going to be like, no, share price is like a proxy for the present value of future cash flow potential, yada, yada, and it is a little bit, but it's also not. Back in 2013, Musk sent an email to SpaceX employees with the subject line, "Going public." Some at SpaceX who have not been through a public company experience may think that being public is desirable, he wrote. This is not so. Public company stocks, particularly if big step changes in technology are involved, go through extreme volatility, both for reasons of internal execution and for reasons that have nothing to do with anything except for the economy. That's right, stocks go up, they go down, we don't really know why, although I think it's extremely ironic. I have to say this, Elon Musk just did to Twitter the thing he doesn't want people to do to him, right? Twitter, once again, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with its mission, its content moderation policies, censorship, etc., they're just going about their business. Stock price, of course, has come down a little bit since last year, and all of a sudden, boom, Elon Musk shows up, hostile takeover. And this is exactly what executives are so fearful of. Netflix executives are freaking out right now. Stock price has been way down in recent months. I know that they've lost subscribers for the first time in their history recently, but I would argue that the drop in stock price is disproportionate to the actual business challenges that they're facing. But because Wall Street holds all these companies by the scruff of their neck, instead of focusing on long-term solutions and figuring out how to deliver the best possible experience to their users, Netflix has been forced instantly into abandoning all the things that their users love about the platform. Password sharing, for example, this is a past tweet from Netflix. Love is sharing a password. Well, that's going away pretty soon. We're all feeling the pain here. Also in the past, Netflix's CEO has said that the streaming service's decision to be ad-free isn't a philosophical thing, it's simply the best capitalism. Well, I'm not so sure about that anymore, right? Ads are coming. I get it. There could be another billionaire waiting in the wings, chomping at the bit, ready to pounce. Who knows? Maybe Bill Gates, instead of donating millions to media outlets, would prefer just to buy a platform with 200 million plus subscribers to further his global agenda. Okay, for the sake of upholding proper journalistic ethics, what I just said was conjecture and speculation, just so we're all clear. A 2006 study conducted by economists at Duke University found that 78% of executives at public companies said that they would sacrifice long-term economic value for a short-term lift in share price. More than 3/4 of executives will sacrifice long-term economic value for a short-term lift in share price. I mean, even if you're a capitalist, that's not even proper capitalism, leaving money on the table like that. Quote, Wall Street analysts dissect corporate quarterly earnings scorecards like never before, leading executives to focus more of their efforts on hitting near-term targets. This means that executives may be increasingly unable, not just unwilling, to pursue long-term value-creating activities like investing in research or training for their employees. Instead, they're being evaluated by their investors on their ability to produce immediate financial value, almost always in the form of value-extracting activities such as cost-cutting, price increases, share buybacks, or other forms of financial engineering. This behavior is at least partly to blame for unethical business practices that have dominated recent news. And quite honestly, Twitter and Netflix are probably the most benign examples of the perils of short-termism. I've talked about this many times, but oftentimes real human lives are at stake. For example, Boeing's corner cutting on the 737 MAX, or Wells Fargo's fraudulent customer accounts, or the Johnson & Johnson opioid scandal. Those are all examples of short-term behavior with disastrous long-term consequences for innocent human beings. And thinking even more long-term, if you're an environmentalist, I, along with many others, have made a big fuss about companies greenwashing products, calling out fake sustainability initiatives and things like that. I think it's wild that when a company decides to take it a little farther, take it too far, meaning that they're not just faking it, there's actual investor backlash. From the Business Times, Unilever clearly lost the plot over ESG, says influential fund manager Terry Smith. ESG, by the way, stands for environmental, social, and governance, this idea that a corporation has the responsibility to pursue environmental and social goals that go beyond maximizing profits on behalf of the company's shareholders. Quote, Terry Smith, manager of the $29 billion Fundsmith Equity Fund, said that the consumer goods behemoth has become obsessed with the public image and mocked its efforts to imbue brands such as Hellmann's mayonnaise with a higher purpose. He said this overzealous focus on environmental and social issues have proved a distraction at a time when the $101 billion maker of products from Vaseline to Marmite is struggling with a falling share price. There it is. All roads seem to always converge at a company's share price, doesn't it? I don't think it's Unilever necessarily who's lost the plot. It's maybe America and our obsession with money, to the point that the entire country is pretty much at the whim of either Wall Street, the hedge funds, or billionaires. I made this point in a previous video of mine about the differences between China and America. Check that out if that is of interest to you. But yeah, in America, capital and the interest of capital has risen above the American nation, and political authority is unable to check the power of capital because, of course, for the most part, they're all bought and paid for. But I do want to kind of end on an optimistic point, because there are different kinds of ways to run companies. Arizona Iced Tea, a private company owned by Don Voltaggio and his sons, their giant 23-ounce can is still 99 cents, and it has been for 30 years. Quote, I'm committed to that 99-cent price. When things go against you, you tighten your belt, said the chairman and founder. How do you keep your prices so low? Well, I just make less. There are employee-owned companies like Publix supermarket chain, where about 205,000 of the company's 225,000 employees own stock, which is granted annually to staff who can also purchase shares from the company. Right? Billionaires like Elon Musk shouldn't be the only one who can throw their weight around. You can do it too. Now, I begin this story by throwing a little bit of shade at the mainstream corporate media for focusing on the culture war and spending a lot of time debating something that, in my opinion, won't really affect the lives of the average American too much, because the reality is most of us are not on Twitter all that much. And that's, I think, a shortcoming of modern news. It's focus on the extraordinary, the controversy, the drama. Of course, a billionaire buying a social media company, that's extraordinary. But I instead think it's more important to focus, or to frame the story, to focus on the ordinary, which is the buying and selling of companies, mergers, the decisions made inside boardrooms and conference rooms day in and day out that affect all of our lives, right? When a company, let's say, for example, decides to raise prices to boost profits, we feel it. And the truth is, whether or not you feel good about Elon bringing back free speech to Twitter, or you think he's going to destroy the company, he's not really the solution, because in reality, private companies can be good, but they can also be bad. Of course, credit where credit is due, Elon is right. Public companies can only be one thing, which is beholden to their shareholders. Those are my thoughts for the week, and thank you to Elon Musk for giving me an opportunity, an opening to talk about the corrosive nature of short-term thinking in corporate America. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. Please let me know if there's other topics that you'd like me to explore. If you want to support my work, please click on that like button, share this video, and also consider subscribing. If you feel inclined, click on that notification bell icon so you can be the first to watch each week. And as always, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week.